Hi, it's Sandy Wyllie. I'm trying to look like my next archetype. Can you guess? The innocent. If you want to learn about the innocent archetype, look no further than the golden retriever. Anything is possible. Everyone is ultimately good, and we all deserve to lead joyful, love-filled lives. It's what makes the archetype so much fun to write, read, watch. Am I the innocent? I don't think so. We all were innocent at one point, right? Every one of us. And I think I'm too jaded by all that's gone on in the 58 years that I've lived. This archetype taps into our longing for wholeness, a kinder, gentler world. In essence, innocence, right? However, that's not to say that the innocent is always lovable. Despite their simplistic worldview, this archetype, has a tendency to inadvertently create chaos. Now, we wouldn't usually think of that, right? And the innocent archetype creating chaos. As readers and writers, and our hearts break over the hurt they feel when life comes at them hard and harsh. And that has happened to me. I've been very innocent, very naive, very, very gullible. I'm like probably the most gullible person, at least I was, on this earth. And life came at me full force and knocked me down. And I can't say I'm the innocent anymore. I do not identify with this archetype whatsoever. I told you, the caregiver, the creator, the rebel, the lover, but not the innocent. I was once the innocent. Okay, let's talk about innocent archetypes. What is the innocent archetype? And I will give you some of the personality traits right here. They're the child, right? When we think of child, every baby born is innocent. They learn to be corrupt through their parents, through society, through their peers, through authority figures. Even mass murderers, okay? Even the Ted Bundys and the Jeffrey Dahmers, even those gruesome, grotesque, like horrible, like Satan themselves. Believe it or not, they were born innocent. They were innocent children. They did not come out of the womb like the devil that they turned into. Children are always innocent. They learn to become otherwise. Like I said, through their parents, through society, through their peers, the youth. Well, when you're young, life hasn't hit you. You haven't dealt with all the hardships when you're young. Let's face it, when I was young, I was too young to know about my father being schizophrenic. I was just totally innocent. I hadn't experienced my child being beaten, my child being in the hospital, almost dying in a coma, being let down by people, being raped by my psychologist. I hadn't experienced life, being beaten by my mother. I mean, that happened later on, not when I was like 1 month old or 2 months old, right? I hadn't experienced all this. I don't know what age she started to beat me, but I'm sure it wasn't, when I was under 1 year old. When I was young, more and more stuff piled on top, So youth is innocent. Children are innocent. We become jaded by our lives' experience. What happens to us? That's how we become jaded. The dreamer, that's an innocent archetype. But why is a dreamer an innocent archetype? Because a dreamer has like rose-colored glasses on. A dreamer, I like dreaming, because dreaming can make you mine. See? When we dream, when we fantasize, we can have the person we love. We can be around we can dream of our crush. And it's just so thrilling. And it makes, for that short time we're in that, fantasy bubble, we feel like everything else, all of the harshness of the world is shut off. So that once we're in that, like that dream state, that fantasy bubble, we shut off, we're encapsulated in that. And we shut off the harsh, cruel world. And therefore for that time, we become like ensconced in that dream, in that, that innocence. The utopian, what is a utopian world, right? A world without crime, a world without war. Look at all the wars that are going on now. Look at all the crime. Look at all guns. That's another issue. I don't want to get into all that. But in this utopian world, right, there wouldn't be guns. There wouldn't be wars. There wouldn't be crime. So to have this like perfect, utopia, that's innocence. That's innocent thinking. The saint. I have to admit, my husband is the saint. My husband, when I met my husband, was extremely innocent. I don't know who was more innocent. And then, over the years, he's been such a saint, but it's kind of, he slid from that because of all the marital woes that I've caused him. But he still is a saint. But he's not as innocent as he was. Well, he was a virgin when I met him. I was a virgin too. We were both virgins. So we were both innocents. Like I said, I was the innocent archetype before. I am not any longer, but I certainly was. I do not identify with that archetype no longer, and I haven't for a while. The traditionalist. What makes a traditionalist innocent? I have traditional values. I suppose some people who are traditionalists only think a man and woman should marry, that you shouldn't have sex before you get married, that the woman should wear white and only marry in a church. Some traditionalists, I don't know, might think the woman should stay home and take care of the children. I mean, that is all innocent ways of looking at the world, because the world is not like that, right? It's absolutely not. All right, what are typical innocent archetype characteristics? Let's look at their values. Joy in harmony. The innocent's number one goal is happiness. Now, I don't know if I would call them a Pollyanna, because there are a lot of people, I don't like Pollyannas, okay? If you're a Pollyanna, I don't like you. Sorry. It's just Pollyannas. I don't think it's really a facade with the Pollyanna. I just think that, that's just, how some people are like crotchety and, complaining and grumpy, and that's like kind of like their personality. But I think the Pollyanna, I just think that's part of them. They like to they like with the rose-colored glass, they're always rosy, and that's what they want for themselves and for everyone else. Villains often included. That's what I'm saying. If you're wanting even evil people, bad people who go kill people. If you want joy and harm, I don't know. There's something about that. It reminds me of a Pollyanna, and I don't like Pollyannas because they're just too sugary. You know what it's like, a Pollyanna? It's like eating a bowl of cereal which has too much sugar on it. It's like, ugh, like, you know what I mean? When you weren't looking, you turned your back, your kid dumped like 3 or 4 lumps of sugar on it, you know, spoonfuls of sugar, and it's like, ugh, you know, it's sickeningly sweet. That's what that is, you know. Simplicity. The child resists paradoxes. In their mind, there's a clear line between right and wrong, and every problem has a solution. This is for the innocent archetype. Morality. An innocent archetype abides by moral code. It may not, it's not the same moral code you or I follow, but the innocent child archetype always wants to do the right thing and expects the same from others. And they do not handle it well when they witness moral feelings in another person, especially those they love. Now, here are some positive qualities of the innocent archetype. Optimism. It's great to be optimistic, all right? This is where the innocent is at peak of lovability. They're quick to see the good in others, the good in themselves, and the endless possibilities before them. I like optimistic person, optimistic people. There's a difference between, you know, trying to look on the bright side of things and then being that Pollyanna, that sugary, sweet, sickeningly sweet, sappy type of person, you know. Like, for instance, my husband is like, I would say he's an optimist. He looks at the bright side of things. I would say my son, Austin, is an optimist. But they're not Pollyannas. They're not sugary, sweet, and sappy like that. But there are some people who are like that, and they won't acknowledge any other way. You know, you can't say anything negative. You really can't be yourself with these people because they don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? If everything isn't sunshine and roses and, you know, rainbows, that they don't want to, I'm not hearing you. You know, I don't like people like that. You really can't, I can't relate to people like that. Loyalty. The innocent archetype is true blue. They follow through on promises, commit deeply to relationships, and choose to see the absolute best in those they love. And this is where I am nowhere the innocent archetype. This is about the farthest so far that I've covered. So far. I have other ones. This one is the farthest away from me. I mean, I do not see the best in people, unfortunately, because I am jaded. I am jaded because I have been burnt over and over again by people. And so that's why I don't relate to this at all. If anything, right now where I stand, I see the worst in people. I'm the exact opposite. I just, you know, I'm always questioning, you know, people's motives, kind of like almost paranoid because I've been badly burned. Honesty and sincerity. An innocent cannot even fathom deception. But unlike the gesture, which is one I definitely could, you know, relate to, the other compulsively honest archetype, the child may not be an accurate source of truth. Blame the rose-colored glasses. Yep. So it's not that, you know, their honesty, they're only seeing things like through rose-colored glasses. So they're not really seeing the real reality. They're only seeing the good, you know, where my glasses are so, you know, fogged up from being jaded in life that I'm only seeing the dirt, the grime. Mine are all dirty and grimy glasses. So everything I'm seeing through my lens is dirty and disgusting, and there's something bad and ugly and grotesque about it. Whereas the innocent archetype, they've got the, you know, the bright, the sunny, the rosy glasses on. So they're, you know, and it's not that, you know, they're trying to deceive anyone. It's just that, you know, that's how everything is filtered through that lens, you know. So just like with the child, that's not always accurate, right? Neither is my lens always accurate, you know. It's like two opposite extremes. Inspiration. Sometimes our other characteristics need the positivity and optimism that the innocent delivers. And really, don't we all? That is true. I think, you know, being a downer, you know, it's hard to be around people who are downers. It's hard. I'd rather be around optimistic people. Yeah, I agree. I'd rather be around people who try to see the good in life, try to see the good in others. Now, I'll leave you with this. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So, if a broken clock can be accurate twice a day, then so can a broken person, right? They're not always, you know, bad. There's always some good in everyone, believe it or not. And I'll give you an example of this. Remember that. There's always some good in everyone. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but even Ted Bundy, if you read the books, he was on a health crisis. I don't know if it was a suicide hotline or some health crisis hotline that he volunteered to do, to take incoming calls for people who are in a crisis. You know those hotlines? My son worked in one of those hotlines, okay? And he helped people on that hotline. So, see what I'm saying? There's always some good in the worst of us. And there's always some bad in the best of us. So, we're really more alike than we are unalike. I hope that gets you feeling connected with me and the rest of the world.